All right, we'll get into scheduling here for this, and of course, I'm looking forward to this week. So there's going to be some job twos getting scheduled in some vehicles, and we know some information on Bronco in a way of capacities for different trim levels now this week, and some other stuff. So yeah, so here we go. We're going to get into scheduling. Let's talk about the different terminologies though of everything first. There you go. All right. So as we kind of talked about one of our weeks terminology and what's going on here. This is we are talking about the orders that are in the order bank. That is where the dealer places all their stock and retail orders. So you're actually ordering from a dealer, and the dealer places those orders in the order bank. And your order is considered a retail order. That's a customer placed order. And then there's also stock orders that go in there. And then there's fleet as well. Stock is orders that are placed by the dealer for stock or lot inventory. If maybe they have their earning allocations, we're going to talk about in a little bit, but they don't have orders, they'll put stock orders in to fulfill those allocations. Priority code, that is a priority given to the orders by the dealer. A retail order or a customer placed order, as we just learned, can be anything from an 03 to a 19. The default when they put orders in, dealers put orders in, is a 19, and the dealer would have to manually move that to a different number. And then stock ones are 20 to 80. And the lower the better, which is why retail orders are always looked at for scheduling before a stock order is. In some weeks, they only look at retail orders. We'll talk about that more this week. And so scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production date and future months. So we're talking about what's getting scheduled this week, the week of December 3rd or December 2nd, for production dates in February is what we're talking about. So they're scheduling this week for orders that are unscheduled in the order bank for production dates in February for most of these models. Allocations, Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. Ford earns those allocations by how well they sell certain models. If they sell a certain model really well, they get more allocations. Also, how well they sell different models within their state, which is a change that they recently made. It used to be within your region. Now it's within your state. So you earn those allocations in that way. And then an order cannot be scheduled without a dealer getting an allocation. So even if a dealer has, like we currently have like 20 Ranger Raptor orders, we only have 2 allocations. So some of those aren't going to get scheduled, right? So that's just how that works. So sometimes it could take several months or several weeks to get an order scheduled because of the dealer's allocations versus how many orders they have. Just that's kind of the math how it goes. Constraints, that is options that may be in short supply or take longer to build, or sometimes there's a constraint if the amount of orders exceeds the capacity for that particular trim level, right? And that capacity is the planned production rate for a particular option trim, something like that, which we'll get into that in a couple of these. I think we're going to talk about in Bronco today. Job 1 and 2, that's a production run within a model year. So they always start every model year with job 1. And then if they need to make any changes or introduce a cool feature or something that they aren't quite ready for at the launch of the production, but they need to start production because there are people that are wanting vehicles and they need inventory, then they'll go ahead and start job 1 and introduce those things in partway through the year and what they call job 2. We're seeing that with a lot of different things for Maverick and some of the others coming up this week. Balance out, that's the end of production or the balance out. Sometimes that's the balance out of job 1. Like job 1 is balancing out and they're going to start up job 2. So startup is also a phrase that we like to use in this as well. All right. So there's that. So let's get into this, starting with the 25 model year Mustang. There's currently 689 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Mustang, and you can order the 25 Mustang. So you can are able to put those orders in. Now they are scheduled this week. It says in here, job 1 balance out schedule. We just talked about that balance out. So they're wanting to finish out job 1 before moving to job 2 for the Mustang. So they are scheduling for build dates in the first half of February, the weeks of February 3rd through the weeks of February 17th. And you might ask, why aren't they scheduling for the whole month? It's because that's where job 1 ends and job 2 is going to begin. So that's why we're seeing only the first half of the month being scheduled, first 3 weeks, I should say. They are main commitment, which means that it could be retail and stock getting scheduled for this week. The Dark Horse handling package won't be available until April of 2025. And then the Mustang Night Pony package with the black painted roof is available only for retail scheduling. And then for stock orders, the vehicle must have black exterior paint. So dealers aren't able to order a Night Pony package unless they order it as a black vehicle. They're reserving all those for retail orders only. Limited availability for the 5.0 liter engine as well as the 2.3, which are only two of the three engines that they make, right? But limited doesn't mean not at all, right? It just means that they scheduled most of their production already, so they're limited in how many they can schedule in there. It says very limited to exhausted for the 18 by 8 inch machine face aluminum. I think that's the same wheel that's in the EcoBoost trim level, and then also the tire that goes along with that as well. So there you go. There's a couple different things that they have in there. So it looks like they're looking for Dark Horse orders because one of the things they don't have, that 5.0 liter engine, they don't have the Dark Horse engine listed. So that would be something they're looking for people that have Dark Horse allocations, that is. So, all right. Dark Horse scheduling is separate from regular Mustang allocations. So your dealer would need a special Dark Horse allocation to get your Dark Horse order selected for scheduling. So next up, 25 model year Escape. Currently only 117 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Escape. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year, so you can place those orders with your dealers. They are scheduled this week for main commitment. That means stock and retail orders in there for production weeks in February. So February 3rd through the week of February 24th. So that's pretty much the entire month of February. And it does say in here, previewing full on plug-in ST line select, active, all-wheel drive, and active front-wheel drive with moonroof. So looks like they've already, when I say previewing full, it means that they already, if it's not previewing, if your order isn't previewing, then it probably won't get selected. So there you go. All right, next up, 25 model year Bronco Sport. Currently 172 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up, including your Job 2 order banks for those special changes for Job 2, which means like the special emissions. If you need that, those the special order codes, you can do that. We talked about that last week. They are scheduled this week for the weeks of February 3rd through the weeks of February 24th. So pretty much the entire month of February. It does say OTD order generation for Bronco Sport occurred November 29th. OTD is order to delivery. So those are basically, they're trying to order those for dealers to help them for stock. So that a lot of times that's stock ordering. So they pretty much put those orders in there for dealers that have allocations, but they don't have orders in the system, and they'll put them in and use OTDs for that. Retail and fleet scheduling only this week. No stock order scheduling this week. So those are retail orders only for this week. So this is the first week they can start scheduling for the Sasquatch package for the Badlands and Outer Banks. Just so you're aware of that. All right, next up is a 25 model year Bronco. Currently 1,117 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. Not that many because they can produce more than that in the time frame they have. The order banks are open up for all trim levels for the Bronco. They are scheduled for the weeks of September, so September 3rd through September 24th. It does say main commit only for stock orders, but I think they are taking retail orders as well. And then it does say in here, best availability is the Big Ben with the Black Diamond package. Also, limit availability for the 17-inch high gloss painted aluminum wheel. I believe that is the B-Lock wheel. So your Sasquatch wheel. Exhaust availability for the 17-inch gray painted aluminum wheel. It's standard on the Big Ben, which is why the best availability for the Big Ben is with the Black Diamond package, because it's a different wheel, right? Now, this is where I do want to talk out with the Bronco is we've been wondering what the capacity is going to be for certain trim levels, because we got a couple new trim levels for this year. So the base trim level is going to be produced at a 9% capacity, which means 9% of the Broncos built will be the base trim level, which is pretty good. Big Ben is 24%. Outer Banks is 27%. Heritage Edition is just 5%, and it's 4-door only. Don't forget about that. Badlands is 26%. The Strop Bronco is only 2%, so very low number. So we're not seeing that it's a. We know that those aren't necessarily take a different allocation for Strop Broncos, but they are being produced at a very low number. So I don't think dealers are getting selected and saying, "Hey, you only get one or two." They're just going to pull them how they pull them. So Raptor is 8%, and that is takes a separate allocation for Raptor. Ordering, I think we have like one for this month for Raptor, 8% capacity on that. So, I mean, the Heritage is more limited in how many they're going to build than the Raptor, and base is just 1% more than the Raptor. So, if that tells you anything right there. And two-door hardtop, 9%. So 9% of the production will be two doors, and we know you can only get a two-door in the base, the Badlands, and the Strop Bronco. So 9%, which also means 2% of that's going to be the Strop Bronco. So you're 7% between your base and your Badlands. Very low number there on that. So there you go. Total hardtops is 92%. So we're talking four-door and two-door hardtop. So 92% of them hardtop. So only 9% of the, or 8% of the vehicles made will be a cloth top. Very low number. I think the hardtop production has been hit its max there. Automatic transmission, 97% capacity for that. Manual transmission, only 3%. And then 2.3 liters, 47% versus 2.7 being 53%, which that actually doesn't add up because what about the Raptor, which is 3.0? So weird. So they don't even include the Raptor into that percentage. Weird. All right. Black Diamond package, 13% is the capacity on that. So of all the Broncos built, 13% will be Black Diamond package. 5% will be freewheeling package. 50% will be Sasquatch. And then they put it in here as stealth package, but they mean the black appearance package is 10%. So there you go. There's kind of the number on that. So, and yeah, so there you go. All right. Next vehicle is a 25 model year Mach-E. Currently only 40 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Mach-E, and they are doing retail scheduling only this week for production dates. Production dates. The weeks of February 3rd through the week of February 24th. So there you go. There's that. All right. So I have a Mach-E. No constraints on that. 25 model year Explorer. There's currently 404 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank, and the order banks are open up for the Explorer. They are scheduling main commitment, which means stock and retail orders for the weeks of February 3rd through the weeks of February 24th. Limited to exhaust availability for the following features. There's a bunch of them. XLT version, the 21 by 9 inch aluminum painted wheel, the 21 inch dark aluminum polished or alloy polished aluminum, the 2.3 liter engine, the ST version, the platinum version, the black painted roof, and the exterior appearance package. So those are all limited to exhaust availability. So they will schedule some, but chances aren't great on that. So there you go. All right. Next up is the 25 model year Expedition. Currently 1,860 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year Expedition. You can place one like I did for my wife. They are scheduling main commitment. Does say previewing full, and they are scheduling for the weeks of 2, 3 through or February 3rd, the weeks of February 3rd through the weeks of February 24th. So I think they're going to start scheduling retails then, which is good because they started off just doing stock. So there we go. 25 model year Maverick. Currently only 2,172 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. You can tell some people were waiting for those job twos. Some of the people out there were listening to me. The order banks are open up right now. Job 2 order banks are open up. So if you're wanting those trailer tow features or the new Lobo with the 402A, those are now available to order. And they are scheduled this week, production weeks of February 3rd through February 24th. So these are job 2 order dates. So you can get your job 2 order selected for scheduling. It says retail and fleet scheduling only this week. No stock orders scheduling this week. And they did generate OTD orders just like they did with the Bronco Sport that occurred on November 29th. It does say for dealers to go in and check those orders out and make sure they're how you want them ordered. Next up is a 25 model year Ranger. Currently only 618 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year Ranger. They are scheduled this week. Main commitment only for stock orders, it says. And it says they're scheduled for the weeks of February 3rd through February 24th. Limited to exhaust availability for the 17-inch forged beadlock capable wheel that's on the Raptor. And this is how, like, for people that have orders with us and they have a Ranger Raptor order with us, is it's not always the first one that gets put in there, but because if the first order that's put in there has the exhausted availability beadlock wheel, then they won't get selected. But somebody that has the stock wheel or the standard wheel would get selected over them. So sometimes it's not always first in, first selected, because it is also based on the configuration they're looking for. If that beadlock wheel is a constraint, like I figured this would happen, those people that didn't have the beadlock wheel on their orders are going to be looked at first, and then it may be by the date after that. So just so you're aware of that if you have an order with us. Also, limited exhaust availability for the Raptor exterior graphics. Again, if you don't have those graphics, that can push you back too. And then to 18-inch black painted aluminum wheel that's included in the black appearance package, available in the XLT and Lariat, I believe. All right, that's all I have for that. 25 model year Super Duty. Currently 4,769 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year Super Duty. They are scheduled this week for production dates 12/30, so December 30th through January 27th. This is where this one and the F-150, they are a little bit earlier and when those dates are than February. So limited to exhaust availability for the F550, the XLT series, the XL, and the Chrome package. No other constraints listed on that. That's pretty crazy. There's usually a big list here on this, right? You guys have heard me talk about this. Right now, it's only the XL, XLT, F550, and the Chrome package for the Super Duties. So actually, I have some information on their capacity for the 25 model year. The capacity for the King Ranch trim is 4%. So that means 4% of all the Super Duties will be a King Ranch. 5% of all the Super Duties will be Platinum. Only 2% will be Limited. 21% will be Lariat trim. And then 8% will be Trimmer package, which is available on several different trim levels. 38% will be the 6.7 liter diesel engine, where 20% will be the high output diesel engine. So there's two different diesel engines for you out there. So the one that's almost double production of the other one is your standard diesel engine. 6.8 liter gas engine, 20% capacity, which is why they want dealers to take those orders, because they can make more of those engines at their engine plants. The 7.3 liter gas engine is 22%. And then the 7.3 liter with the chassis is only 3%. So keep that in mind. And then on the F450 series, it's 6%. And the F450 pickup, it says, is 2%. I'm not sure what the difference is on that. And then F550 series, it's 7%. So you can see a very low number on all of those. So there you go. And then just so you know, tonneau covers for the Super Duty is 1%. So again, there's a lot of things I'll tell you to do. And one of the things I say is leave those accessories off your orders, especially when there's, almost 5,000 orders in the order bank and you're wanting selected. And let's say you want to, especially if you want a Limited and you put a tonneau cover and you want a 6.7 high output, those are all the low numbers. Only 2% capacity on Limited, only 20% on the high output, and only 1% on tonneau cover. You're just adding more things on there to hurt your order or getting selected. So take off your tonneau covers. Moonroof is 20% capacity. Spray and bed liner is 36%, which is a pretty good number. Running boards is 11%. The fifth wheel prep package is 23%. Cabin chassis is only 15%. So there's some numbers for you to mull over there. All right. Next up is a 25 model year F-150. There's currently 1,993 unscheduled orders in the order bank for the F-150. The order banks are open up for the F-150. They are scheduling this week for production weeks January 27th, for the week of January 27th through the week of February 10th. They are needing some Raptor orders without the tonneau cover. As I mentioned on the Super Duty, tonneau cover is a killer. Take them off your orders. including your Raptors. So evidently there's a bunch of Raptor orders in the system with tonneau covers on them for some reason. Just take those off. Let your dealers do them for you, or put them on yourself. We'll show you how. We've done a video on that with them on a Maverick. So, and also limited availability for the 5.0 liter engine, and then limited availability for the 18-inch chrome wheel that's standard on the XLT 300A with the 4x4, and is included on XLT 301 and 302A, and is also standard on Lariat base 500A. So that wheel there is limited as well. So there you go. And then next up, 25 model year Transit. Currently 650 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Transit. And it does say they are going to be scheduling for the weeks of January 20th through February 10th, the week of, I should say. And it is scheduling for 25 model year. I think this is a startup for Transit. And they're not mentioned on here, but I don't think they're scheduling for Transit Trail. So they, I think, pause that for right now. So there's all the scheduling information for this week. Again, if you watch the Wednesday video, drop those comments down in the comments, and I'll try to respond to those as best I can. If you're watching this with us live on Tuesday night, then we'll take your questions right now live on the live stream.